something that is a real good little visual aid is, let's take this and explain the neck and where the shoulders would be, and how this would work as far as a...
Well, what I want to show you is that every spoke is connected to the rim and the hub. So many people want to swing only a part, and it's got to work together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coordinated action. Now, this is called the wheel action. You have a wheel and you have an axle. You have a spine, you have a shoulder, you have a hip. It isn't a single action in a golf swing. The hips have got to do the same thing, but they're limited because the shoulders has another joint. It's called a gliding joint. It's not a socketed joint, so it allows you to get more out of your shoulders than out of the hips. But they have to work synchronized. It's like two wheels, your shoulder wheel and your hip wheel. Most people swing the club, they only turn the shoulders, and they spin in a single action instead of a compound. There has to be a shift of weight to swing on one leg, understand? But if you try to swing on two legs, you get crossed. The legs get crossed, and the out of balance work that way. Understand?
Well, you're talking about if you kept your balance of weight on 2 feet like this, as opposed to shifting from one foot to the other foot.
No, you have then an axis from your feet until the top of your head.
Well, explain, okay, now, if we took this wheel and axle, okay, now this, let's just say this would be our spine.
Yes.
And we inclined it over.
Now that's the adjust position.
Right, like if I stood here and I bent over, it'd be like that.
But it do the crimping in of the left side, the caving in of the left side, and convexing the right. This wheel would work this way instead of that way.
Yeah, and what you're talking about when you do that, I mean, like if I tried to turn, then the wheel would go up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you do it.
It'd go up this way.
If you work your hips horizontal instead of one down and one up.
Yeah, it'd be like this. So if I took my left arm like this, and that would be the base of this here.
That's it. That's
and if I tried to turn first, the first movement would be, it would go that way.
It become a horizontal deal. Then,
as opposed to, now this would be swinging level to the angle of the dress.
And you're locking out actions that are very important for power and also control.
But one of the things, like if you took this wheel, is the hand, it sits on the, say if it works independently.
That's the only thing. It's just like you have a wheel. You're into your left arm, so you have the hand, but you have what we call an action, a fulcrum. That's your wrist. But if you lock your hand to the arm, you don't have that 180-degree semicircle. 90 to the back,
like
back
this.
To 0, and 90 ahead.
This would be the club on the hand, and so it starts off here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get it in line with that wheel.
And turn your wheel like that, and let it go on up.
Yeah.
And turn it, let it come on down. Understand? See, you have a common plane, and if you raise, or what we call, this is flexion.
So it would never actually break above that.
And then you don't have a plane.
Breaks behind it.
You have two planes, see?
Right.
Yeah, the club will never be on plane. It's amazing you people hit a ball. But of course they come down like they happen to hit somewhere and it bounces into it. It isn't accurate. Understand?
But you're talking about letting the weight of the club set the wrist.
Yeah, instead of you bending on it, it'll overdo it. And you'll feel a grinding.
But this way, it's always in line with
the joints. If you just let it come that way, you don't feel like, it's carpal, metacarpal, see, the phalanges. If you do it this way, you feel it right here on this part of the metacarpal, the carpal here. But if you don't do that, you see it feels equal between the radius and on the bone. Like it feels free.
It stays in line.
At the age of 6, I learned that. I had one golf lesson in my life, a fellow named Callahan, on the Isle of Guernsey, where I was living, He
About swinging that club into that bank?
Yeah, he says, I have a velvet coat on, a corduroy pants. I have Buster Brown shoes. They were patent leather shoes with buckle, you know. They had high stockings and short pants. They didn't, wasn't knickers. They were just cut off. But that's what the dress being. And I came into the shops and I said, Mr. Callahan, the course is closed today. Could I have a lesson? I'm 6 years old. He says, yes, bloody. I want you to take this Masha Nublik. I want you to walk out to that bank out there. I want you to stand about 2 feet away. I want you to bury that club head into that bank. But if you come here with mud on that sleeve, I'm going to kick you right in your rump.
So as to taking that red sleeve and hitting it with your left
hit
arm.
it with the butt in the stick.
Boom.
That club is coming free. You cannot keep up with the speed of the shaft because you don't have any connections. We're disconnecting our sense of feel. All we can feel is the end of the arm. This is working. If you try to keep up with that, you slow it down. A lot of people
you can't really add anything to it.
You're not adding anything. See, the rotation of the shift and rotation of the body is causing the arm take. You understand? It's the matter of the action of the hands that gives the acceleration. And it's amazing how much you can add to the acceleration of the club. His first action, you're going to feel like it's the look here, the supination of his left forearm. Supinate, left forearm. Look here, in dorsal flex. That.
Boom.
That's the right hand. And the elbow folds, okay. As Mike goes back,
Okay, you want to go ahead and go back?
coordinating his hands with the action of the legs, ankles, knees, and hips, you will see that that blade always stays on the outside of that shaft. The head never gets behind the shaft. You never know where it is, and you got to make a tremendous motion, and you never know where your square is.
And when you say behind, in front of the shaft, in relation to people,
it's out here.
That means it's in front.
Yeah, see, this is front, this is side,
And this would be side.
and that'll be back. See, these people, every one of the pros teach today is that. Well, hell, why take and open up something you got to close? It's not going to aid you at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do something you don't, it won't be advantageous to you.
Okay.
So I leave all that superfluous motion out.
Okay, and so what we're doing is this club face is always front of that shaft.
It stays on the outside of the shaft going
on
back.
the outside.
This is called the outside and that's called the inside.
Right.
Now this is called the inside.
Now, yeah, okay, so if
How
I
you
took
gonna
that
hit?
club and I went like that, that would be on the inside.
Yeah. So,
Okay, you got it?
yeah, I tell you one thing, I'm giving a child one lesson, and say I'm bowling this way, but with his legs, he did just the opposite.
All right, now look at here. Okay, so we keep it in front of the shaft. Okay, as we shift.
Now you see how the legs and arm are coordinated. All 12 levers, the ankles, knees, hips, shoulder, elbows, and wrists, have to be synchronized.
Okay, now it's in front.
Yeah.
But as the club gets onto the...
See, as you fold the shoulder joint and the elbow joint, the club is now, it's still on that side.
What do you mean now?
The club isn't, the club at the top is not that way. See, if I take this thing up like this, and I go up to here, it's still up there. But when you bend this arm,
Fold
and
it right
the shoulder, the plane comes up. It's more like that. It's actually the face, the edge of the face is on the plane of the shaft because you rotated 90 degrees with it.
Okay, now you're talking about one of the most intricate things in the whole golf swing. Billions of dollars have been trying to describe what you're saying. So explain a detailed action, like if I took my hand right here,
Yeah.
and this is a major coaching point, is like when we set up to the ball, our hands are in line with our arms.
Well, now,
Not like this, but like that.
Hell, the club is above your plane.
And at no time do we ever cock our hands like
That's
this.
called a radial flexion. It's all no deviation.
Right.
That isn't. But when a person does this and that, he has to do it to compensate for the bad motion of radial flexion or the deviation. You don't have to have it.
But the right hand is it's in line with the right arm.
Yeah.
And so up until if I just stood here like this,
That's
then-
the way the workings go. You see, now when you do that, this left arm collides with the right arm here, and this right hand is underneath that. You're not trying to make your right arm go over the left.
if you do like a twist
Well, you
apart.
have no idea where the ball's going. That's why these people smother hooks so many balls.
But when everybody looks at their golf swing and they take it back, this side action, that's what I wanted you
Well,
to
see,
try to
the
explain.
plane, if I, let me have that white pole over there, the long one, look, let's see. Now go into the top of the backswing,
Which way you want me?
that way, that way. Now if I took a line here, there, the base has the plane of the swing, like that, working across this 7th cervical. Now as you work across the 7th cervical, this shoulder rotates on the plane to the ball. Let me show you that. Come up here, let me turn it this way.
Which way?
Now, you face that way.
Okay.
Now, I want to touch the 7th cervical. That's it. Now, this clavicle bone is coming, rotating down from this point to the ball. And that way controls the perfect plane.